Hi, welcome to the Sales Strategies for Christian Coaches podcast. I'm Justin Janowski, your host, and I started my Christian coaching business in December of 2018, just hoping to make it. The truth is, it was the third time I tried to be a coach. The first time I got one client and was out of business. The second time I had 3 paying clients and was out of business. And the third time I had a dramatically different result. I was hoping to earn 60 grand that first year. I collected over $250,000 in revenue. God did some amazing things. The other reality is, though, that I had the opportunity to learn under a mentor for a few years between those first 2 attempts and that third attempt. And what I learned was a system around sales and marketing that could actually work. And when I integrated God and my faith and my value system into that to make it really high integrity and loving, things really took off at Faith to Influence. I have created this podcast to support you in developing out your system for sales, marketing, offers, pricing, all the business side of your coaching organization. And if it's just you and your coaching organization, it's still really relevant, of course, for you to have systems, processes, and put yourself in a position to succeed. And today in the podcast, we are wrapping up a series on leadership. This is a 3-part series, and this is the 3rd part. So if you enjoy this episode, feel free to jump back a couple episodes and watch the first and the second. In each of these 3 episodes of this series, we're talking about 5 ideas of how a coach can lead well in their business and in their life. So we're taking a little bit of a break from the sales side of things and diving in on leadership. The episode today is focused on the 11th through 15th of our 15 laws of uncommon leaders. Here's number 11. Number 11 is that true leaders are honest with themselves. This is important. I think sometimes people are in fantasy or they're telling themselves little lies on one side or the other of a coin. In some cases, people are telling themselves that they're not as good as they actually are. They've got maybe this false humility, or they've got this over-exaggeration of their flaws, and it's causing them to sabotage because they're thinking of themselves as less than they actually are. Others, on the other side of the coin, some leaders are in fantasy that everything's great and that they're better than they are, that their skill set's better than it actually is, that they're earning more than they actually are, and they're just lying to themselves about where they're at and where they're going. It's so important for us to be able to have an awareness of who we are, awareness of our strengths and our weaknesses, so that we can be really honest with ourselves about where we are, who we are, and what we need. This is critically important. The more you can self-assess in an honest way without being too far to one side or the other, but actually honoring the truth, the more you're going to be able to solve problems quickly. And this is going to, of course, be reflected in how you're able to show up and be honest with others. When you're honest with yourself, people can feel it. There's a solidness and a strength that comes from that honesty that is going to be really helpful in your other relationships as well. The 12th idea is that true leaders have empowering stories about sales and money. It's okay if you're not there yet. You can work on this. This can be in progress. But I know that a lot of coaches are struggling because they've got disempowering stories, negative stories about sales and what it is, and negative stories about money and what it would mean to have more of it. And if we have these stories about sales and or money, we're going to really have a hard time taking the leap into the level of success that we could otherwise have. If you want to be a great leader in your business, you want to be a great leader in the marketplace, you want to give more generously to your church and to your community, you want to provide more powerfully for your family, you want to have a greater impact, you need to get your stories right about sales and money. And it's okay and worthy of the journey of taking some time to figure that out, to process it, to get it right. So I want to encourage you to elevate your stories about sales and money. This starts with an awareness, starts with maybe being honest with yourself. What are the current stories that you have, maybe limiting stories that you have about sales? What are the limiting stories that you might have about money? If this is an important topic for you, I've got an invitation I want to extend your way. I would love for you to join us in our Land More Coaching Clients Masterclass. It's free. It's live on Zoom. It's a 90-minute training. It's action-packed, and it will absolutely help you empower and elevate the way you feel about sales and money and even your own identity. Really important training, and you can join us for free at landcoachingclients.com. www.landcoachingclients.com. Join us for the free 90-minute training so that you can empower your stories around sales and money. This is going to allow you to have a lot more success in leading your coaching business and a lot more ease in it as well. The 13th idea is that true leaders are authentic and transparent. Authentic and transparent. These are two of my favorite words. I feel like in today's world, more than any other time, we can tell when someone is being inauthentic with us, when somebody isn't the real deal, when they're faking it and it doesn't feel so good. Here's what I want to tell you. You're amazing. You will absolutely have people in the world who would love to be part of your tribe, who would love to work with you. So don't try to be someone else. Aim to find your authentic leadership voice, the essence of who God created you to be, and to be honest and to be real and to be authentic in how you show up as you in the marketplace. This is going to attract your most ideal clients. The transparency part of this, I think, is so helpful and valuable in sales and in leadership, just to be willing to be incredibly honest about what's going on. When you're in a sales conversation, pre-framing the conversation so that somebody knows that they're in a sales conversation and that they give their consent to it. You know, one of the things that we do when we run an event is we're almost always, whether it's a webinar or a challenge or a retreat or a conference, almost always when we run an event, we're going to have an offer on the other side of that event so that if people love it and they want to take the next step with us, they can. And when I'm going to make that offer in the event, it's really important that my audience knows the offer is coming, that they receive me with transparency so that they don't feel like I'm trying to trick them or deceive them or hide something from them. And the way I do this is by pre-framing the event. At the beginning of a conference, I'm going to say, hey, today we're going to do this, 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 and this. Tomorrow we're going to do this, this, and this. And for some of you, you're going to get exactly what you need to take this and run on your own. For others of you, as you learn over the next 2 days, you're going to say, wow, this is amazing. I need more conversations like this. I need to be in more rooms like this with this caliber of community and support. And I want help during the implementation. If that's you, we're going to make an offer at the end of the second day that shares with you how it looks to work with our team for the next year. And we're going to invite you to that. We're going to make it really easy for the right people to say yes. It's not going to be for everyone. There won't be any pressure around this. But for some of you, it's going to be an answer to prayer. It's going to be exactly what you need. And you're going to be excited as you receive it. And then we'll wrap up on the third day of the conference with this, 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 and this. And we're going to end with our closing ceremonies, which is absolutely amazing. And we'll leave everyone with an incredible final memory of the conference together. Does this sound good to everybody? Yes? Awesome. That's how I'm going to pre-frame the conference. I'm telling people near the beginning of day one that there's going to be an offer on day two, as I'm laying out with transparency what else is going to happen at the event. And so then people understand what's coming next. And actually, I mentioned it a few times in that 3-day conference prior to the offer being made. I reference it multiple times from stage so that people know it's coming. That transparency builds trust. And it also creates a little bit of anticipation. And so what I've found is like sales feels sleazy when it's hidden, when it's a trick, when it feels like a secret, when it feels like you had one outcome and they thought it was another. But if we're transparent and clear about what our goals are, what our outcomes are, what direction we're going in together, then when we follow that structure that we laid out, we simply build trust rather than the opposite. So if you're not sure what to do, just be authentic. Be transparent. Tell the truth. I bring this up when I talk to people about building a group program. I don't think you need to have like 10 clients lined up to launch your first group program. I think you can literally get on a sales call with one person today and launch a group program next week. And if you wanted to do that, have a group coaching program or training program, all I would do to be authentic and transparent at the end of that sales call is I wouldn't pretend that I have more clients than I do. I'd just say, and here's the offer and it costs this much. And here's the truth. I'm just launching this program. And so if you decide to say yes and be a part of it, you're going to be the first client in this group coaching program, which means a couple of things. Number one, it's possible the first group call would be just us. But the cool thing about that is one-on-one costs a lot more than group calls. So you're going to get one-on-one with me if that's the case at a group price. So this is going to be the best deal you're ever going to be able to have to work with me. And you're going to get more of my time now than people will in the future. And I'd love to build the culture of this program together with you. And of course, I'll be working hard to add a second person and a third and a fourth and continue to grow over time. But I'd love for you to be first if you feel like this is a fit. Is this something that you'd like to do? That's how we show up with authenticity and transparency, rather than trying to hide or feel bad about the truth that this is a new group program. We don't have anyone in it yet. We just show up and we tell the truth. That's almost always going to attract and build trust with our most ideal clients. The 14th law of uncommon leaders is that true leaders gain the slight edge and help others do the same. This is an important opportunity. I read a book called The Slight Edge. I think Scott Olson is the author many years ago. And the concept of it stuck with me, which was that if we want to be great, we just need to gain a small, slight edge again and again and again and again, whether it's in our health and fitness, it's in our relationships, or it's in our business. All we're looking for is today, can I get a slight edge that if I repeat over and over and over, day after day after day, week after week after week, month after month after month, can at some point have the effect of compounding interest, where that very slight edge over many months or many years equals a massive gap in who we would have been and who we've actually become, in what we would have experienced or created or done versus what we actually have. And an example that stands out to me that he used in the book was flossing your teeth. The thing about gaining the slight edge is you usually don't notice it right away as making much of a difference. Like if you floss your teeth today, you're probably not going to have a different looking smile tomorrow. You're probably not going to feel a whole lot different tomorrow. But if you do floss your teeth every day for the next 3 years, versus if you don't floss your teeth every day for the next 3 years, you're going to notice a dramatic difference. The difference becomes even bigger after 10 years and 20 years of doing or not doing the small, simple thing. Well, the same thing is true with prospecting or putting yourself out there and creating content. Like if you gain the slight edge in prospecting, let's say that you just begin to send 5 messages a week, inviting people to a sales call. This is something that can be done in 30 minutes. This would be very simple, very easy. But if you sent 5 messages a week, inviting people to a sales call, a networking call, referral call, and you took 30 minutes of an entire week to pour into that part of your business, or if you're already sending prospecting messages, you just sent 5 more every week than what you've been sending so far. After 1 week, you probably wouldn't notice a huge difference, maybe not even after a few weeks. But what I can tell you is over the next year, you'd send 250 additional messages. Over the next 10 years, you'd send 2,500 different additional messages inviting people to a call with you. Over 2,500 additional messages, you will undoubtedly have a ton of additional sales calls held and a ton of additional sales made. Not only will you have those sales, but you'll have the success stories. You'll have the testimonials. You'll have more referrals. There will be a momentum of those initial clients that builds your credibility and leads to more clients. The difference in an additional 5 messages sent every single week versus not sending those 5 messages over time is absolutely massive. So as a coach, as a leader, the challenge is to gain the slight edge today and to help your clients, help others do the same. Gain the slightest of edges again and again and again and again. And the final law of uncommon leaders, the final tip to leading well, is that true leaders remember that done is better than perfect. This is so important for us as entrepreneurs, coaches, leaders. I know a lot of coaches get stuck in a fear of being imperfect. And because of this desire to be perfect, this perfectionism that shows up, they plan and prepare and 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 never quite feel like their offer is good enough, never quite feel like they are good enough, never quite feel like that retreat they want to run is quite ready, never quite feel like they are ready to post on social media or launch their podcast or do whatever the thing is that they want to do. They're waiting for it to feel perfect or for themselves to feel perfect. And the reality is we're never going to reach that standard. So we have to accept learning as we go. We have to accept doing the real work to create the outcome and the environment in which we can become better and we can pursue excellence without ever having that standard of perfection. Done is better than perfect. If you've been waiting, maybe this is the moment that you say, you know what? I'm just going to be me. I'm going to show up and do my best, and I'm going to launch now. Because the moment you do, you have an opportunity to improve and get better. And if your heart's in the right place, your imperfect effort will be incredibly, incredibly impactful. These are the 5 for today. True leaders are honest with themselves. They have empowering stories about sales and money. They're authentic and transparent. They gain the slight edge and help others do the same. And they remember that done is better than perfect. Once again, if you enjoyed this episode, go back and check out part 1 and part 2. And if you'd like more support in implementing some of these strategies, join us at www.landcoachingclients.com. God bless you. Have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you again soon.